Ladies and gentlemen, live from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Wednesday or Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for AEW Dynamite or Collision Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings of AEW All Elite Wrestling action, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2373 of the show. How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is July the 9th, 2025, 10:55 p.m. Everything is going to be beginning tomorrow. As you know, the Whalen City Festival will be starting tomorrow, but it can be tomorrow late. As far as Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, here's the deal. There's a lot of wrestling events going on TV or on the computer or online. As you know, there will be on Saturday 2 afternoon events going on: NXT Great American Bash and All in Texas. And then, well, also you got Saturday night's main event. Then you got Evolution on Sunday. Now, here's my dilemma, because I usually go, I have a tradition going to the Whalen City Festival every single year. I have done this since 1999, ever since I got my license. And I may or may not be able to do some of the live reaction streams going on that, you know, Brandon Martin usually holds up. That's the thing that is the only issue I have. So doing the afternoon streams like, you know, Great American Bash, All In, I'll watch those later on. I'll do my own, not live reaction, but I'll do my own report like I usually do. And I'll probably be late because of the fact that both the wrestling events start at 7. Wait. There's 3 wrestling events that'll be 7. There's 5 wrestling events at the Whalen City Festival. This is going to be confusing, I know. At the Whalen City Festival, the local festival that I go to every single year, there's 5 wrestling events. On Saturday and Sunday, there will be two wrestling events happening in the afternoon. Both of them each at 2. One on Saturday, one on Sunday, at 2 in the afternoon. But the 3 wrestling events for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday at 7, Saturday at 7, Sunday at 7. That means I may be late for the live stream reactions for Evolution. That's probably the only one I'm going to be able to do. Saturday night's main event. So, well, as far as All in Texas and Great American Bash, I'm going to try to watch those separately, and I will give my evaluation on that and report on that. And so I will. By the time everything is done, I probably will have to do a lot of catching up on this coming Monday after the Whalen City Festival, because a lot of stuff's going on. So this is so crazy. It's going to be the craziest week ever. So I might miss a little bit on SmackDown as well. But I believe the festival is going to close at 8 o'clock. If I do recall, because of the fact of the 23-person brawl that happened back in 2006, 2007. So, so there's going to be a lot of situations here. So you guys are going to have to bear with me all weekend long. And sometimes it doesn't hurt to get out of the house once in a while, get off from behind the computer, and go out and have some little bit of fun. And that's what I'm going to do. So, no big deal. I'm still going to bring you the episodes. Don't worry about it. I ain't going nowhere. As far as, I'm not leaving YouTube or anything like that. A lot of concerns there, but that's okay. So, let's get going. Let's talk about the final Dynamite before All In. It is a face-to-face between Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné. By the way, I bought another Timeless Tony Storm shirt on Amazon. Can't wait to get it. Well, those two talked a little smack until at the end, Tony Storm basically said to Mercedes Moné, eat crap female dog. You get the idea. I try to keep it clean, which is could be more offensive. So, excuse my language. Forgive me. I try not to cuss in any of my videos. But Timeless Tony Storm basically said, "Eat shit, bitch," and proceeded to brawl with Mercedes Moné. So this rivalry between Moné and Tony Storm, well, let's just say, for all intents and purposes, it's going to get real ugly. Bowling shoe ugly. Let me tell you. Those two ladies could be beautiful, even though I like Tony Storm more than I do Mercedes Moné. But it's going to get bowling shoe ugly, this feud. And All In, Texas, they're going to go definitely all in. And then Jon Moxley addresses Hangman Adam Page. And the team of Bandito and Brody King. You know, Bandito will be defending the Ring of Honor World title against Konosuke Takeshita at Supercard of Honor. Well, Kyle Fletcher's got a title shot of his own, challenging Adam Cole for the TNT title and All In. So Brody King joins forces with Bandito against Pro Shida, and Pro Shida ended up winning the matchup. That's right. I think Hot Dog Head himself is trying to really get under the skin of a lot of people. Well, the Outrunners address FTR as they get ready for another tag team matchup, and Renee Paquette interviewed FTR and the Patriarchy as they joined forces against Jet Speed and the Outrunners, and tomorrow night on Collision for an All-Star 8-man tag, and FTR and Patriarchy kind of responded to Jet Speed and the Outrunners. And then Blake Christian went one-on-one with Ricochet, and it looks like Ricochet's new boys, the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona, end up at ringside, get involved, and Ricochet did pick up the victory, and then the Gates of Agony attacked Christian after the matchup. Renee Paquette interviews MJF and the Hurt Syndicate about MJF's little talk with Mark Briscoe and the Hurt Syndicate defending the tag team titles against Jet Speed and the Patriarchy. But then they decided, well, we're going to go, you talk to Renee. So as they go in, and also they start flipping out and freaking out. It looks like Jet Speed looked on the note saying, hey, since we beat you guys, decided to take the titles earlier. And so we're going to deal with this. And then Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada address each other. You know, Okada has joined forces with Don Callis to get rid of Kenny Omega. Everybody respects Kenny Omega. Why do they? I don't know. Anyways, so there's that, and it was for the unified title. As you know, Kenny Omega is the international champion, and Okada is the continental champion. And then they had the talkie talk, MJF and Mark Briscoe. And there's one point where Mark Briscoe says, "You're gonna speak ill will, you just talk some smack about my brother. You can do it. I'm prepared. Give me what you got." And then MJF shocked me all when he said that your brother's going to go down one of the best. He was speaking great things about his brother until he said, if your brother was still alive right now, he said it shouldn't be me in that car accident. It should have been you. And then Mark Briscoe went off. He went off on MJF. And when Hurt Syndicate came out, but then Jet Speed decided to attack the Hurt Syndicate, and then the Patriarchy came out to get themselves some, injuring Bobby Lashley, hitting Bobby Lashley's leg with a concerto. In fact, Kip Sabian, Mick Wayne, and Christian Cage took their turns. It seems like they know exactly what they're doing, and it'll be a matter of time the Hurt Syndicate loses those titles at All In if they can make it there. So, then they have the women's fatal four-way to have the number 2 spot in the Casino Gauntlet match. Megan Bain versus Tekla versus Queen Aminata and versus Tay Mello. And Chris Statlander, who's going to draw number 1 in the Casino Gauntlet match. Well, Megan Bain won the second matchup to draw number 2. And these two are the biggest ladies in AEW right now. They're going to go at it in 1-2 in the Casino Gauntlet match. And then after Chris Statlander was watching the matchup, Renee Paquette interviewed Tekla, but then Queen Amanada continued to attack Tekla. And then Mark Briscoe comes in. He says he's fired up. He's ticked off at MJF. And made Renee Paquette laugh for some reason. But he was fired up. He was ready to go. And then Samoa Joe took on the crackhead version of the Quantum Ranger, Wheeler Yuta. Or, you know what? The Wheeler Yuta looks like the crackhead version of Superhuman, you know? The one that does, jump on, no, jiggles and jigglets. I hope you like it. Whoop, whoop, take off his shirt and goes, F this S. Ah! He jumps on something and hurts his back and does all crazy things. That's what he looked like Superhuman on crack, Wheeler Yuta. I call him the crackhead Bruce Lee. But then it's an insult to Bruce Lee, the Quantum Ranger, and Superhuman. You know, they're all cooler guys than Willie Yuta. Come on. Willie Yuta's a dope, and he's trying to hit on Chris Statlander. What is he doing? You know, what is that boy doing? Anyway, Samoa Joe ends up winning the matchup, but then Samoa Joe celebrating. Gabe Kidd attacks him after the match, and Hobbs and Shibata chase off Gabe Kidd. And then leads into the All-Star 8-Man Tag Team matchup. It is Powerhouse Hobbs, Katsuyori Shibata, Will Ospreay, and Hangman Adam Page against the team of the Young Bucks, the Beavis and Butthead of professional wrestling. But then again, that's an insult to Beavis and Butthead. And then the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley and Marina Shafir in their corner. And then the Bucks and the Riders end up winning the matchup. But do they feel like winners after the match? Well, Gabe Kidd and Wheeler Yuta continue to attack Hangman Adam Page after the matchup. And then Will Ospreay tried to come in. And the Ops tried to come in. They're getting chased out. And then they were holding Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page. And then Marina Shafir and John Moxley handed the Young Bucks plastic bags. It was like, I had a feeling. And then we never see Swerve Strickland all night long. Well, with Swerve Strickland, he commandeered a backhoe, and he does, vengeance, hate, and vengeance, everything else goes hand in hand. And you know what I think about this Young Bucks? And then you get the backhoe. So what's he gonna do with the backhoe? And then there's the Young Bucks limo. I said, oh, he's gonna pull a Stone Cold Steve Austin like he did with the DX Express. The only thing is he dropped a big beam on the DS Express bus and blew it up. I was like, I kind of hope he would do that. Have it explode. That would have been even funnier and cooler and more epic. And by the way, MJF's not the only one with teeny tiny kosher pickles. I think the Young Bucks got teeny tiny kosher pickles too. Anyways, and then Swerve Strickland decided to put the backhoe. Boom! Wrecked the. Oh my God! No! And then Hangman Adam Page, Ospreay, and the Ops fought back and ended up leveling. Claudio Castagnoli took the hit for the buckshot lariat. Then he wants to go after Moxley, and Maria Shafir said, No. I want to move Maria Shafir out of the way and knocked out Moxley myself. But anyways, in the end though, the Ops, Will Ospreay, Hangman Page was standing strong in the end, and then Will Ospreay celebrating with Swerve Strickland. I'll tell you what, that was genius of Swerve Strickland. He knew, it was like, okay, he knows that he didn't want to come down for Hangman Adam Page's aid, but he probably thought of a better idea. He said, hey, and wrecked the Young Bucks limo, and the Young Bucks saying, oh my God, how we financially recover from this? Oh my God. And they were too busy shredding papers and all that. Tony Khan probably has some copies somewhere. I got a feeling that Tony Khan's going to get himself involved in this and decided to do something about this situation with the Young Bucks. What can I say? Well, that is it for this episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. 2373. Tomorrow will be Press Your Luck, and then afterwards, the fun begins on the Brandon Martin channel tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. where Rant and Rave 300 begins. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have guests and take a look back. Take a look back at some of the episodes and all that. And, I made my debut in summer of 2021, and ever since then, been around for 4 years, and it's been a great deal. I know I took a leave of absence in 2022 a couple of times because of the fact that everything's messing, everything's kind of messed me up, but now everything's back on track. And it's been flowing ever since. So, hope you guys look forward to tomorrow and join us at 2 p.m. on the Brandon Martin Channel, episode 300 Rant and Rave. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode of the show. Excuse me. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.